guy over there shaved off his beard again.
As
we
usual.
have a new guest today.
Hi, Mike.
Mike is from Roam the Ruins, a local band, and he was able to stop by today and we'll talk a little bit about his gear he uses when he plays.
So, now you have a couple questions that you're
Sure.
dying to ask.
We can start out with what kind of guitar are you playing, Mike?
This is a replica of Brian May from Queen. It's a replica of his guitar. It's not exact, but it's pretty close.
You're pretty fast with the switches, about as fast as you play the guitar.
Yeah, most people they'll like, you ever see a 19 or an old 80s video game and you hold the whole joystick with one hand? Because they'll switch each switch off with one hand. Then you got me. Each finger is dedicated to a switch.
There's a couple times we played with you now, and it's funny to watch you when you're playing. You just kind of, as you're playing, you reach down and go into the next part and go to the next part.
Just about as fast as this as anybody else with a regular old 5-way switch or 3-way switch.
Pretty neat sounding guitar though, getting really into it, and he let me play it the last time he was here. It's a pretty cool little guitar, especially with the electronics and sounds you can get out of it.
Well, yeah, it's doesn't look like it sounds because you have 3 single coils and you say, oh, it must be a Strat. But they're not wired in parallel, they're actually wired in series, so these two together in series would sound almost like a bridge humbucker. Pretty thick sounding. That's obviously a single coil. That's not a single coil anymore, it sounds like a humbucker.
Yeah.
And then you have all the other settings, which are phase reversal switches, which will reverse the polarity of one of the pickups, which will add a lot of treble. So these two, which is my main bridge humbucker setting, is really thick, but put one of the pickups out of phase, and then you got all this treble, which is really useful for screamy kind of stuff.
Cuts out all your bass notes or your bassy frequencies.
Yeah, if you're going for a Stairway to Heaven tone or Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah. Ironic bringing that into the Brian May.
What song is? Do you know that song?
Queen? I don't know.
I just found this guitar. I figured it'd be a nice guitar. I don't know who Queen is.
These young kids. So what are some of your influences?
Not Queen. Never heard of them. Queen is they're the ones who got me into music, I guess. And if you had met me my freshman year in high school, you'd have hated me because I thought Queen was the best thing ever, and I didn't talk about anything but Queen. But eventually, okay, well, here's Boston, they're a good band, and here's Styx, and here's Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath, they're all good bands, and then Metallica, and then, okay, well, that's metal, got Megadeth now, and then just eventually a lot of stuff, mostly classic rock and metal, but recently I've been getting into Spanish guitar, blues, and jazz, and whatnot.
Yeah, as we've heard with some of your new stuff with Roam the Ruins.
Yeah, I actually went to the Guitar Center the other day just to buy a nylon string guitar just for one song. So it's one song, and then I'll never play it again with the band.
That's a true guitarist, though. You gotta have that,
Yep.
that one sound.
That out of all the guitars you own, you'll need just one for one single sound. You'll probably never play it again.
In terms of acoustic, this song will give me every sound I want.
No. With what did you say before we started the video? You get 13.
13, yeah,
Total
which is
sound
still isn't
effects.
enough for me. I need more. But it gets the job done. It gets the job done.
How long have you been playing?
About 5 years, I believe. Yeah, I started my freshman year in high school, and I'm long past that now. It's been about 5 years, so yeah.
What made you get into guitar?
Other than Queen.
That was pretty much it. 7th grade or 6th grade, I got an iPod because my mom got one and she gave me her old one. And I just went through iTunes and I downloaded all these random songs that were already on the iTunes. And then among those was Queen's Greatest Hits. And I was like, We Will Rock You, I've heard of that song, I'm just going to download it. And then another one by Dust, I've heard of that song, I'm just going to download it. And then eventually I just downloaded the whole Queen's Greatest Hits album because I liked what I heard. And I was like, this is pretty good. So then I just found the rest of everything that Queen has ever done, as well as their solo careers, and then I should buy one of these things.
One thing leads to another.
And I actually didn't intend on playing guitar. I just wanted to own one. And then
One thing led to
my
another.
parents
with it,
told me, like, well, you're gonna play it, right? You can't just spend $800 on a guitar and not play it. And I said, okay. so then I picked this up. And
so let me guess. Once you started learning, you pretty much locked yourself in your room until you learned something, and then.
yeah, just. I wrote that. It's not by Queen. It's definitely not Tiger Mother Down by Queen. No, it's definitely not Tiger Mother Down.
And what kind of amp you're using?
A cheap one.
It gets the job done.
It gets the job done. It makes a noise. It's not as nice sounding as I like it to be, but it's mic'd up, so it's as nice sounding as the sound guy wants it to be, which is usually nice to me. But it's loud enough for me to hear, and that's technically all a guitar needs, is for them to be able to hear it, because either way it's going to go through a bunch of equalization later, which is good. But it gets the job done. It's got a clean channel, a gain channel, and what more do you need?
Okay, well, how many watts is that?
It's 120 solid state. It's like, I believe it's the Acoustic Lead Series DFX 120. It's called.
Okay.
Two 12-inch speakers.
Still got a nice sound though. I mean, for
It was only 300, so for 300, it's pretty good.
120 watt amp for $300. Yeah.
An amp of its volume and tone, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for that, you're barely getting the Mustang 4s,
Right.
or even the 3s at that point. So and you're running what 50 watts more than those, about something like that.
How much are those?
That's about 50 watt, isn't it? 50 or 75 watt.
What
The 3s or the 4s.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I got 120, so around those numbers.
Yeah. Still get a good sound out of it. But like you said, you're mic'd during a majority of your shows, so it doesn't matter how loud you turn it up, you're still going to be getting EQ'd out. And
Yeah, which always ends up sounding better than this actually does.
yeah, that's true.
They're trained ears.
So how about a little bit more about the guitar? Is that what type of body is that?
It's mahogany.
Okay.
And you'd expect it to be heavy, but it's actually,
All hollowed out.
there's a chamber right here, yeah. When Brian may design the original one, he wanted to put an F-hole in it. And then he liked it so much, and he's like, what if I mess it up? So he ended up not doing it.
So yeah, you've got a chambered mahogany. This, on the other hand, it's just all giant chunk.
But I've held
Weighs
that
50
before,
pounds.
and it's balanced so well that you can't even tell that it's heavy.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true. Just holding it. If you're holding it by the strap, it's nice. But if you're holding it like this, it's got
3
some
less
heft to-
falls.
Yeah.
So what size strings do you use?
I'm using 9 gauges, pretty light, in addition to the fact that this is a 24-inch scale length, which makes it even lighter, so after playing your guitars, this feels like I'm playing spaghetti. Or angel hair, rather.
That's what you had said Monday after you came out.
Yeah, I
Played all our guitars and kind of freaked out when you
I
picked
thought,
that
oh
thing
no, I
back
need
up.
to go-
Oh no!
I need to go put 10s or 11s on this, but I decided
Keep
as
it as it was.
soon as I played it some more, I got used to it again.
Good finger exercise. You play with the tough, the heavier strings. You go back to yours, and it's that much lighter.
Yeah, and I'm also a really light picker. I'm not really... You see me on stage, and sometimes I'll be hitting it really hard, but that's just acting. I'm an actor. But,
That's what it's all about. You gotta put on a performance.
I'm a pretty light picker player, so the light strings work.
That's kind of the exact opposite of me. I mean, I play the heaviest picks I can find and try not to destroy my strings.
I'm using. I used to use. You have the Dunlop, Tortex, right?
The Dunlop Sharps. Yep.
I used to use the yellow ones, which are 73 millimeters, and then I switched to these purple ones, which are thicker and less bendy. But I want to get yours because these are even heavier. But
yeah, I played with the purple ones a lot of years. They're real nice. They got a real nice feel to them. Just for the variation of music that we both play, it gives a different chunk to the strings, especially from chugging and muting and stuff like that.
Yeah, the reason I did is because it's just easier to straight up down pick with these, whereas before I would with the yellow ones, and it's not as heavy sounding, I guess. So I figured it's time to get a bit heavier because these have
Quite a bit of flexing.
they're still thicker than your average Fender medium, but they're still
Are those sharps? Or is that just a regular?
oh, they're all
tip?
sharps. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I switched to these greens first, and these still weren't good enough.
Finally meet another player that plays the same Dunlop sharps.
I used to use the Old Techs,
Yeah.
with the rhinos on them.
Yep.
But they were much sharper than your average pick, but they were still a bit round.
Too round.
So these are knives. So I use these.
I've always liked the way those felt. Once I picked them up, I saw them at a guitar store one time, and it was, yeah, you know what the hell, I'll try it. And it took me a while to get used to them. Once I got used to them, because I played the regular purple picks without the tip.
The round ones, steel
Yeah.
Vortex.
Yeah. And then I moved to the purple sharps, and it's like, man, what have I been missing out on for a while here?
Yeah, it makes
So much
tremolo
better
picking.
tech.
Tremolo picking is the reason I
Yep.
sharp. It's not
better
so much a
tech.
matter of playing stuff in general, just tremolo picking.
So what else? What other kind of gear are you using? You using other guitars for your sets, or?
Nope. This one gets me all the sounds I need. So, like I said earlier, we got the 9-line string, which I bought just for one song to get a...
You gonna be running that live?
No, probably not. Too much, switching back and forth. No pun intended, it's one of our songs, back and forth. But,
Throw a pun out there real
I
quick.
just figured I'll set it to the clean channel. Because that's what Metallica did and everybody else did. They just clean channel. It sounds good enough.
So what influenced your finger picking? Notice you're pretty good at your finger picking technique.
Well, I probably can't even play the song correct now, but you guys all know Dust in the Wind. Yeah, I'm doing it wrong. But I learned that song a long time ago, and I don't really like to learn songs a lot, but I thought that's really nice. And then, wow, strumming's really boring. It's so easy, there's no challenge to it. It's
Start finger picking it
so
all.
monotonous, so... Decided I have 5 of these things, I can use them.
Put them to use.
Yeah. So that's why I started finger picking. It's just more fun to do when you have a clean setting.
Yeah.
Do you get into other tunings in your songs?
Just drop D.
Okay.
I mean, I plan on, of course at home I've messed with open tunings, which I will a lot more now that I have this nylon string. But I mess with open tunings at home, but for the band, just E standard and drop D.
Okay.
Simple, straight, and to the point.
Yeah.
That much less work when you're up on stage.
Yeah, and then I'd have to use a different guitar. And I couldn't do that because then I won't get the 800 different sounds I need.
Oh no! You just save up the money and buy another one, and you just leave that one in a different tuning. There you go.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I wanted to get one used at Guitar Center. It was gold. It looked like Elvis Presley would have played it. But I got the money for it, and I go in and it's gone because I didn't think anybody would buy it because nobody likes these. Nobody knows how to use them.
Well, somebody did.
You learned.
Yeah.
You figured it out.
After he came by Monday afternoon, and I spent about 15-20 minutes playing it, and the switches are still a little bit to get used to, especially from playing 3-ways and 5-ways for all my guitar playing time. And playing that, once I got the hang of it, I was able to kind of switch to sounds I actually liked and what I wanted. And it definitely has got a unique sound to it. And it looks intimidating when you first look at it, like, oh, what do all these switches do? But once you play it for a while, it's not as intimidating as it looks. Yeah, it's gonna take you a while to be as crazy as him doing, yeah, that.
But that's what makes it so good.
But it's just like a 5-way or 3-way. Once you get your sound and know what you want.
It's pretty easy to use.
Yep. So that bar, is that the stock bar on that guitar?
Well, this is not the stock bridge on the guitar.
Okay.
The stock bridge I had was a Wilkinson, but it wasn't this one. It just looked like a normal 2-point Strat bridge.
Okay.
And it's a push-in bar, and you would adjust it with the little screw, but the screw was under here, so it was
That's
very
a
hard to
weird way of
adjust.
doing it.
And I would always end up stripping it, and then the bar would just be floppy, and I couldn't get it. So I got myself one of these Wilkinsons off eBay, and it came with this little black bar, which is too tight right now because I tightened it for that bar. But in order to keep this thing in tune, this tremolo is really, really, really tight. So that means I have to put a considerable amount of effort into any tremolo I add, or vibrato rather. So DW Cover Project was nice enough to make me this bar, which is just longer, so it gives me more leverage, and I can. It's so much easier. Whereas before I'd be about right here. I have to put a considerable.
You're putting all that force, and we've seen
like
you.
You can. I have to sometimes grab the back of my guitar and use it to.
Yeah, we've seen you
to
do
grip
that.
it, yeah.
Yeah, we've seen you live, literally grabbing hold of the back of the guitar to use that bar.
But this is, it's not quite a float or a caler or a collar, however you say it, but it's definitely
How would you?
much easier to use.
How would you judge that now compared to like the Floyds that you played here? Or
Well,
still a little bit harder.
it's still definitely more difficult, and it's not as tuning stable, so long as I don't
Dive
bomb it, but I usually don't go that low.
You've got locking tuners on it too, so.
Locking tuners, I got a 0 fret, which helps a bit, although I hate it because I have to replace it at some point in the future. And graphite nut, which is good for the friction.
And I see you got your new Roam the Ruin sticker.
Yep, I've always, back in the past, been a guy like, you can't put stickers on a guitar, you're ruining it, you'll ruin it. But I figured, well, this guitar's kind of beat up already anyway. I've had it for about 4 years, and
Well, even
it's just the pick guard, so
Oh yeah, it's not like you're putting it on the paint or anything. So
it's not like I'm spray painting it on.
Yeah.
Right.
Hell, let's put a couple of coats of clear on the pick guard. Now you got a permanent.
But it's a little beat up. I mean, it functions fine, but I don't even have the back plate on. Just because the new bridge I bought extends a bit past the surface of the wood, and I wouldn't want it to rub against the black back plate. But it's beat up, but it works. It gets the job done.
That's the main thing.
That's-
Gives
That's
you
all
the
we
sound
ask
you want.
for.
Yeah.
That's all we ask for in a guitar. Is just play how we want it to play.
Always looking for that certain tone.
Or 13 if you're me.
Well,
or in your case, 500, but you just can't fit them on one guitar.
Yeah.
yeah.
So why don't you go ahead and play some clean, just whatever you'd like, and go through some of your different effects, and then go to distortion and do the same thing.
Alright, well, clean, you got your single coil in the neck. Sounds almost like a Strat single coil. And then you got your middle single coil. Sounds like a middle pickup, the bridge one. What you'd expect from a Strat, except without positions 2 and 4, which is the only thing it can't do, as well as the middle position on a telly, which it could do with the circuit I designed, but I bought bad parts and it didn't end up working on the guitar I built. Then you got, I don't use this one often for clean. It's my main rhythm setting for gain. Sounds good for, but that's about it. This setting I use a lot. It's all 3 pickups on, with the middle one out of phase. And it's perfect for that kind of thing. And then, depending on the room I'm in for when I play any fingerpicking kind of stuff, I will use either the middle pickup or the bridge pickup, or the neck pickup, which has a lot lot more bass, which is why, depending on the room I'm in, I will use one of the two, just because of the way the frequencies travel and how close it is to something, the back of it is to something. But those are my clean settings. Just those three. Because most of them, there's a huge difference in volume. And that setting also is just too trebly for clean. And then gain is where it gets more fun.
A real twangy sound out of that.
You got the main rhythm setting, the Les Paul humbucker setting. This is my slashy type setting, which I will also change depending on the room. Either these two pickups on, which is almost a neck humbucker but not quite, or just the neck single coil. Right now in this room, the neck single coil sounds better to me. It's all dependent on the room. Brian May uses this setting a lot. These two pickups with one of them on a phase, which get you a real trebly sound, but it's not hum canceling. So I will use the bridge and the neck out of phase. In phase, they would not be hum canceling, but out of phase, you get the treble. And so that's what I use for my screamy type sound. My rhythm setting I use for the clean sound, the real reggae-ish one, I guess, will sound almost identical. This is one I used often as just a solo sound. It sounds almost identical to that. If I could just play the guitar properly. But once you get to the lower strings, it gets twangier, whereas on the high strings it doesn't quite do that. So it's nice for specific things. And then there's the last setting I use, which is just so much trouble you don't know what to deal with it. If you showed up and you played that, people will probably just kick you out. But,
I remember you letting me play that, and you flicked that one switch on there.
And you managed to do something really nice with it.
What? Okay, it sounds weird, but
you did something nice with it. It's a very specific thing that you can't use often, but if you were trying to play the Stairway to Heaven, that would be the perfect sound.
Yeah.
For the solo, at least. And those are the settings I use for the most part. I will mess with other stuff, but those are the main ones.
You want to do a quick rundown of your pedal board, and then...
Nothing special here. I just got the channel switch. I got a volume attenuator. I don't know if the camera will pick this up. Oh yeah. Then the button to turn off. The amp has built-in effects. Just basic reverb chorus. I don't have it turned up very much. I have a compressor which makes that sound when you have it on with the gain. But I use it for when I finger pick because that way it'll keep the volume consistent between the strings. Delay pedal, which I haven't used with the band, but I just use for fun, U2 type stuff. And then my wah pedal, just an Ernie Ball wah. And then I got my wireless system, a Line 6 G30. It's pretty good. And that's all I got for my effects. I'm not really a big effect guy.
Okay. Well,
that sounds great. Glad you could come out.
Thank
you, Mike, for coming out and sitting doing the videos with us.
Well, we've got a couple more videos you want to do. We'll grab you in on those, and we'll see you real soon. Dwayne from DW Cover Project,
Dave from the DW Cover Project,
and Mike from Rowan the Ruins. We'll see you real soon. Remember to comment, rate, and subscribe.